Republican views on House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi have evolved somewhat over time, as they used to despise her and want her silenced, but now they encourage the gaffe-prone Democratic leader to keep talking, as she only seems to help GOP re-election efforts. It would appear that Democrat views of Pelosi have shifted somewhat, as well as more than a few on the left have caught on to how Pelosi seems to be hurting their party more than she is helping it these days, and a few are even speaking out about it. In an interview with the Buffalo News, Democrat New York Rep. Brian Higgins from the Buffalo area made it clear that Pelosi no longer has his support for a continued role in the party's leadership, which the 78-year-old California representative has held since 2003. "I will not support her," stated Higgins. "She's listening, but this is my conclusion. She's aloof, frenetic and misguided." Higgins has largely taken issue with the lack of a clear agenda or message from the Democratic Party, save for complete opposition to President Donald Trump, and has clashed with Pelosi over bills he supports that would expand Medicare and invest in infrastructure that he claims she has ignored. Trending: final betrayal. Ryan's amnesty draft leaks. Looks like biggest amnesty in U.S. history. Very few Democrats have spoken out publicly against Pelosi, but Higgins implied that his voice represented many others in the Democratic caucus who have yet to publicly express their discontent with Pelosi's leadership. "I'm giving voice to a frustration that I hear every single day," stated Higgins. Its members. "I don't want to call anybody out, but this is the conversation that is taking place. Our leadership is out of touch with what is going on not only in Pennsylvania, Ohio and Michigan, but in Cheektowaga, West Seneca, Hamburg, Orchard Park and Lancaster," he continued, naming off formerly Democrat-controlled states and localities won by Trump in the 2016 election. Democratic voters, at least in voters writ large, feel politically homeless, and it's because we are not offering something affirmative to give people hope and something to invest in the way that we want to do things, Higgins added. Though Higgins refrained from criticizing his New York Senator and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he did issue criticism for the light on details economic plan Schumer and Pelosi are pushing, which has been dubbed a better deal. "It's thematic, it's well-intentioned, but nobody's buying it. It's Washington speak," he said of the Democrats' seemingly sole agenda item. Higgins proceeded to rattle off several names of House Democrats he would support as a leader of his party, and suggested that his party was in dire need of finding a strong leader and developing a clear message prior to the 2020 election cycle. "The only thing I have is a voice and a vote. And I have to use that to try to get my conference to recognize that resistance to Trump at best is only half of it. We have to offer something affirmative," said Higgins. "We are not ready for 2020. We're lacking a clear, coherent and compelling narrative," he continued. "A big part of that problem is Pelosi," as Higgins added. "When she's on the floor, she's all over the place. She's frenetic. I think she lacks gravitas." Related: Pelosi attacks people of faith for not pushing back on immigration laws. According to Fox News, Higgins now joins the small but growing number of Democrats who have publicly created distance between themselves and Pelosi. It remains to be seen if that relative handful of Democrats opposed to Pelosi's continued leadership role will swell to the size necessary to actually oust her from the leadership, or if Republicans will continue to benefit from the minority leader's ridiculous gaffes for another election cycle. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' news feeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you share to your friends, however, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you.